Everybody, Miss Glad here. I'm going to walk you through learning target 3. This is the relearning. Please follow along by grabbing a piece of paper and solving these 3 questions with me. You're going to notice we've got a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. This is your first step in doing the relearning to get to those buybacks or the the retake for Unit 2. So grab a piece of paper, something to write with, and let's go ahead and get started. So this first question here, move that up a little bit. This level 1, I've got 3k minus 1 equals 7k plus 2. And the problem with this is that we have a variable on each side. So I'm going to find my equal sign, and I'm going to go ahead and put my line in. And when I do that, see, I'm going to arrange this here a little bit. There we go. A little bit more space. So notice that I've got 3k on my left and I've got 7k on the right. When we begin solving with variables on both sides, I like to choose the smaller variable to eliminate so that I can avoid negatives if possible. So my best route is to first of all eliminate that 3k. So to eliminate it, I'm going to subtract it. So I'm going to go minus 3k on the left. And then I'm going to come to the other side of my equal sign and I'm going to subtract 3k from the right. So notice how I'm lining the k's directly below one another. Now, my k's here are going to cancel. So positive 3k minus 3k are going to cancel. And this 1 that's left, notice it's not just a plain old 1. It's actually a negative 1. That subtraction sign is going to make it negative. So negative 1 is equal to 4k plus 2. So now what we've done is we've moved our variable over here on the right-hand side. And so what we want to do is we want to get that all by itself. So my first step here, I've got a times 4. So I'm multiplying by 4 and then adding 2 to undo to get to my problem. So I'm going to go minus 2 on the right and minus 2 on the left. I'm going to balance these off. My 2's cancel, and I'm left with 4k equals negative 3. Ooh, this is a good one. So right here now, I have still a little bit of work to do. And as you can see, this, you might be thinking, what's going to happen here? Well, I'm sensing there's going to be a fraction. And I think that's exactly right, because our last step is to clear out this multiplying by 4. Well, the only way to do the inverse is dividing by 4 on the right, which is going to make me come over here and divide by 4 on the left. Now, 4 divided by 4 does cancel. So 4 divided by 4 is actually 1k, or just plain old k. And I'm just going to write my answer right over here so I've got enough space. So I've got k equals, and now this is negative 3 divided by 4. So we can just leave this as a fraction, negative 3/4. Now, I would not call this a level 1 necessarily. It might be a level 2. That one kind of snuck by me there. But if you followed through, that's awesome. That just means the rest of these will not be quite as challenging. So nice work with that one. Level 2, question 2. Here we've got a few more steps. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to identify where's my equal sign. Here it is. And let's take a peek at what we've got going on. On the left, I've got some parentheses that I need to deal with. So I'm going to share the 6 with the x and the 6 with the 2. So 6 times x is going to give me 6x, and 6 times 2 is going to give me a 12. So I'm going to add 12. Now all of this is balancing. It is equal to 7x minus 9x plus 4. So notice over here on the right-hand side is that these have the same variable. Let's go ahead and combine them. 7x minus 9x gives me negative 2x plus 4. So all I did was simplify on both sides, and now I can really see that I've got variables on the left and the right. And so to deal with them, again, I'm going to choose the smaller one, which is negative 2. I've got a 6x and a negative 2x. I'm going to go with the negative 2x. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate it by the opposite of subtraction or negative 2x, I'm going to add 2x to the right, which is going to eliminate over here. And then I'm going to come on over and I'm going to add 2x on the left. So my 2x's are going to eliminate. That's exactly what we're hoping for. And now I've got 8x plus 12, which is equal to 4. So we're getting closer. We still have a little bit of work to do. My last step here is I've got to eliminate, I want to undo the multiplying by 8 and the adding 12. So again, we want to get to x all by itself. So the x is over here on the left. So let's go ahead and unwind reversing GEMDAS. I'm going to subtract 12 on the left, which means I've got to pass through the equal sign. I'm going to come over and subtract 12 on the right. Now my 12s cancel. That's what we're hoping for. So we've got an 8x left, which is now balancing with 4 minus 12, which is a negative 8. So my last step says to undo this multiplying 8. Let's go ahead and divide by 8 on the left, divide by 8 on the right. 8 divided by 8 does turn out to be 1x, which is x, and negative 8 divided by 8 is negative 1. Now I could check by putting my negative 1 in here, and a negative 1 here, and a negative 1 here. So we got a few things to check. So negative 1 plus 2 is a 1. So 6 times 1 on the left should just be 6. Now let's try this one. Here I've got negative 7 minus a negative 9, all of that plus 4. So got a little bit more work to do here. I know subtracting a negative is going to be adding. So negative 7 plus 9 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. Oh yes, they are equal. So we are good to go on that one. Now my last question, level 3. So level 3, we have a few things to look at. I'm just going to slide this up a little bit. So for level 3, I'm going to find my equal sign. So if you could please write this down. I've got 2 parenthesis negative 4x minus 4 on the right, negative 4 parenthesis 2x plus 2. So we've got parentheses on both sides, and we know that we need to simplify by using the distributive property so that we can get our x's so we can see what we're working with. So let's go ahead and use our distributive property for each term in there. I'm going to have a negative 8x, and 2 times a negative 4 is a minus 8. So balancing on the left is negative 8x minus 8. Now I'm going to come over to the right and do the exact same thing. Negative 4 times 2x. Negative 4 times 2 gives me negative 8x minus 8. Now, as I look at these, gosh, I'm noticing that they're very much similar because they are identical on both sides. That tells me no matter what number I put in for x, these two equations will always be equal. So that tells me no matter what number in here, all of the real numbers work. So all reals, or what we talked about, that means there are infinite solutions that will work for this one. So it's not just 0, it's not just no solution, it is infinite solutions that work. So maybe you didn't notice that they're the same on both sides. And so you thought, well, I'm going to add 8x on the left, and then you added 8x on the right, and all of a sudden you're like, well, gosh, these cancel. They do. And you are left with negative 8, which absolutely does equal negative 8. That is true. And notice your x's will always cancel. And so negative 8 equals negative 8. That's not what x equals, but that's what's left when we clear out our variables. So since this is true, okay, we know that infinite solutions exist in this equation. We can put any real number in, and it will remain balanced. It will remain equal. So this is the relearning for learning target 3. If you need to rewind, go back, check anything out, feel free to do that. And you are now finished with all 3 questions. Thank you.